Welcome to today's show. We're on LinkedIn for the final, almost penultimate final time because we're not going to be doing these shows anymore. It's LinkedIn Live, it's Speak on Stage, which means it's interactive. We're going to be joined by Debbie and Aziza and hopefully my VA, my AI VA, which is a lot of letters if you're playing Scrabble, which is Max. And also, hopefully some people, if the algorithm still shares it with them on LinkedIn. So them and us and you discussing, does it pay to be naughty or nice? When you come to the end of a year and you're looking at the business landscape ahead from the one we just come from, does it make sense to still care about people, or should we all just stick our heads in the sand and just get what's in it for us? That's the question we're going to be looking at and getting everyone's take on it. So welcome to the show and welcome to Speak on Stage. And welcome back once again, as always, we're broadcasting live. It's actually the 20th of December, Friday. So if you watch this, it might be a replay. Or you might be catching us live, I'm not sure. But we're joined by the incredible Debbie Gray and Aziza Crane. One of them is my wife, one of them is my partner in crime. You choose which one you think it is. Ladies, shall we just tell everybody we're live? And share it in the streams and see who pops up. No promises that we're going to get anybody. It's been quiet the last couple of weeks because I think LinkedIn have just said, right, we don't care. We're not bothered. We're just going to have you dangling on a string. We'll make you turn out where everyone else is Christmas shopping. And figgy pudding. That's a Christmas thing, isn't it, Debs? Figgy pudding? Do people do that? I don't know. I've never done figgy pudding before. People talk about it. I'm guessing it's got figs in it. But, talking about figgy pudding, but not meaning it in a horrible way, Joanne. Joanne's going to join us on stage. Joanne, today we're not sure what we're going to have. Last week was really quiet. We're winding it down. People are feeling Christmassy. Some people are still at work. Some people will be nicking off work. But we're just going to talk about ethics and values, and we can even twist it and say, is it going to be Santa Claus being good to you or not being good to you? Because does it pay to be naughty or nice in the world right now? And I'm not really sure what to think, and I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on it. So if you can just basically share, Joanne, that you're live on the podcast, and just share it across LinkedIn. We'll see who turns up. And if it's nobody else, the four of us can have a great conversation and I'll record it. In fact, let me just check I pressed the record button because sometimes it doesn't work. And it does. Fantastic. Chris Berryman, good man, great broadcaster as well, joined us for a few seconds. I don't know if he's staying, but if he does, that'd be great. Depends whether he's naughty or nice. So I'm going to throw it at the audience there. If you want to come and join us on stage, you'd be very welcome to do so. You know the rules. Just stick your hand up and come on, and don't do the usual thing, which a lot of people seem to love, which is, let me tell you about what happened since I left school and the relationships I had and blah, 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 which is always crazy. And I think Chris is going to join us on stage, which is amazing, which is great. And Joanne will join us in a bit. So, thoughts on this, first of all, Debbie. Do you think it pays to be naughty or nice in business or in relationships, considering that the world has just voted in people who are very me across the globe and a lot less of people that are us? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts would be that you can be naughty and nice, as in you be nice to people, but you have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries so that respect isn't crossed, and so the job is still done. You don't want to be everybody's pal, but you don't be nasty naughty.
Right. That's very true. But here's the thing. I mean, there's no accident that business storytelling is the currency of conversation in many meetings now, as people tell their story and what their clients have been up to and so on. And so people do want to know more about who they're dealing with. When it comes to branding and business, people do want to know that the brand that they're doing business with has got ethics and it's got a good story, rather than just it advertises and is bigger than everybody else. It really matters. Before it used to matter to the kids, but now it matters to a lot more people. So what's your thoughts on that?
I would say that in business, you need to be able to prove that you can do the job. And being nice, you're not always going to be able to prove that. So it's about focusing on being assertive, being productive, then do the niceties later.
How do you do the niceties later? You get one chance for an impression of
As in
most
you
people.
focus on getting the job done. You don't do the small talk. You focus on getting the job done. Once you feel that you're moving forward, then you turn around and say, okay, fine. Job is being done. What's our brand? So you can be nice, but you need to be assertive. So
So
not too nice.
So what you're saying is there's a line. So being business and personal, but not being their friend, only being like their office colleague type level when you're dealing with clients. So they respect you and know you'll deliver, and they think that you're a good person, but at the same time, it's not like they're going to invite you around their house because you haven't got that close, but you've got a good enough relationship to be able to lean in around business and have a good relationship around business. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I made the mistake when I first started as a hypnotherapist of being nice, and a lot of people took the mickey. A lot of people, I mean, people, yeah, no. I would definitely say that business is business. Yeah, keep business to business. So you have to be as strategic as you can to make sure that boundaries are kept. And then outside of office hours, yeah, all good. But no, I wouldn't be inviting all of my clients home. No.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw this to Chris, and then we'll go to Aziza on this. Mariana's just joined us, which is wonderful, and Joanne may join us if she's not busy eating. So I think it's dinner time for many people around the world right now. And Ramesh Salu, wow, all the big stars are coming out to play. Good to see you as well, sir. Chris. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, you run a lot of rooms and you're certainly in the space of creating relationships between people. Do you think the world has swung between naughty and nice, as in selfish versus um, um, generous, differently than it was a year ago?
David, it's been a long time. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And again, good morning from the great state of Florida. Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic Friday on this great and amazing day that we call life in and of itself. Dave, I have to be completely honest with you that maybe the way we can really connect with people, even from a place of being, let's say, naughty or nice. And Debbie, I loved you kind of shared there, but this is my take on what you just shared there. Yes, we could be having boundaries. We can actually get the work done, all those kind of things. But for me, I have seen it far too often, and I even just posted it in our latest newsletter here at Bringing Humanity Together, is we posed the question, why do people leave jobs? Is it bad management or bad leaders? And for me, I really truly believe, David, we can actually create that balance there within, that we can use the power of the ask and not demand of everyone, but make sure not only are they responsible to do what they are wanting to do with you, not for you. That's a totally different dynamic, and here's why. The question you really want to ask yourselves in and of itself is, if you are wanting to work for somebody else, you're going to end up one way or another helping them get what they want, and maybe not necessarily what you want. But that doesn't necessarily mean to say that they wouldn't help you in one way, shape, matter, or form. But when you work with people, though, David, I truly believe that's a totally not only different conversation, but a totally different dynamic, because I've come to realize, David, and I've seen this far too often, and I'm sure a lot of us have, especially in the year 2024, that we've been really in and of itself so transactional in the space that we kind of forget in one way, shape, matter, or form, maybe our very humanity in and of itself. And maybe we are kind of waking up to the fact, David, that we really need to start to really understand that in and of itself. Because again, I understand when you're at work, there are those deadlines that we got to do. There's those things that when you do it from a product and service standpoint, and I get all that, I do. But again, I'll go back to John C. Maxwell and his great book, The 21 Different Laws of Leadership. the greatest myth out there is we equate leadership and management to be one and the same, and they're two polar opposites of the spectrum. So for me, David, I'm the kind of person who I really want to be really so selfish for others to become more unselfish for myself, not only as a leader, but more importantly as a human being, because I truly believe humanity's waking up to the fact that we can now really be transformational, not only in business, but in every aspect of our lives, when we're not doing it from that transactional space. And when we really understand what people really want and what they want to do and where they really want to go, and we make it about them and not about us, I truly believe that's the most priceless gift in and of itself. When you place that human investment in that very value into those very people, and they see that as a tangible, not an intangible, it changes everything, not only in the organizational standpoint, but even how they work with you, not only from a place of leadership, but also from a place of followership and everything in between.
I agree with you, Chris. Thanks. A great answer. And I think one of the things that's altered in the last year or so is now that we've got more AI, and by the way, I'm Dave, not David. David Crane's a guy who wrote Friends, and he gets a lot more money than me. But I appreciate the name check. When you...
No. I just want to say that only your mom and me can call you David. Nobody else can.
Oh, goodness me. Yes, my wife and my mum call me David. But usually when I've been naughty, or there's an argument brewing, that's what tends to happen. Just sharing up with everybody. Chris, we've only met each other again for a while, so we're not arguing about anything. Anyway, as I was saying, I think that one of the things that makes a huge difference to the way the world is right now is when you've got AI starting to integrate and make a lot of difference towards people's jobs. I mean, not really making a huge difference now, but it will do at some point. Then I think we're going to end up leaning into more human-related skills, at least until new businesses and industries start developing out of the ability to create AI. So, for instance, at some point in warfare, AI engineer will be a big thing. That'll be the person that drives all the drones, all the automated ships, all the planes, all that stuff. But I think that what we're going to have is people will lean in to you plus your AI to do your job more efficiently and better. And I think that what it's going to make us is really have to lean in on not just what we used to do, which is provide results, and it doesn't really matter what kind of person you are, but I think it really leans into who do I work with? If everyone can do it and do it really well, who do I like? And that wasn't a factor so much before, because you needed to have trust, you needed to have authority, and you needed to have credibility for people to want to do business with you. Liking is a luxury, but I think that that's going to become more of just the same as it has with brands. You need to align with a brand that you really feel is ethical and that you love, if you can. I think the same is going to happen more to people than ever before. So I'd love to know people's thoughts on that. Aziza, you're going to jump in next. I mean, I think we've got Joanne and Mariana's joined us again, not for a little while, but it's good to see you. So Aziza, what's your thoughts on naughty or nice?
Okay. How I see it so far is that if you are out to make a lot of money, and I've seen it, like everybody can see it, they're all not nice people. Elon Musk is being one that I can think of at the moment. He's not a nice person, but he's absolutely minted. And I know we know somebody else who's not really nice at work, but on the private, he's a very nice person. So I think if you're out to make a lot of money, then yeah, you can't be nice. That's my answer.
I hear your thoughts on it, but what about something like Richard Branson, for instance? Nobody has a bad word to say about Richard Branson. Multi-billionaire, people pay $50,000 for a week to go and stay with him at Necker Island. They're happy to do that. If the word was it wasn't worth it, or the word was what a creep, people wouldn't still keep doing that. His name is synonymous with the Virgin brand, and even though you rarely see him in public in the same way as you would do with Virgin Air or Virgin Trains or Virgin Phones and all the rest of the products that are out there, his values make people want to be associated with him. So I do think it can transcend and it can pass on to people, but I think it takes a lot of work on establishing who you are. Would you really care so much? You're typing, by the way. Can I put you on mute, Aziza? Because I can hear you just...
Sorry.
There you go. So would you really care so much about Richard Branson if A, his product wasn't useful, B, him being interviewed wasn't like seeing your uncle in a jumper, and C, if it wasn't clear that he was doing crazy stuff like hot air balloons and breaking records and doing all sorts of stuff like that, because as a human being, he wants to see how far he can push himself. And that's a clear example of what he does. He does to stretch and grow other people. It's for me, Richard Branson does it really well, but I'm not convinced that everybody else does the same way. And I don't like to cast aspersions on the likes of Elon Musk, because I'm sure at some point he'll be listening to us and the AI will be saying, right, that guy doesn't get any electricity for a year. But I do think that it comes down to, if you are, like, for instance, the argument about was Twitter turning into X a good or bad decision? It was, without doubt, the amount of money lost, the worst business decision in terms of revenue of all time. But what it did give him was the ability to have a seat on the top table of any table on the planet. His voice of 200 million people on his own platform is bigger than almost any manager or prime minister or president of any company or country on the planet. So was it a good move or a bad move? Well, I think in the end, it proves to be a good move. Was it ethical, or did it do good for the world? No. But that doesn't mean it didn't create what you wanted. And that's what this whole piece is really about. Naughty or nice. That's being naughty in the nicest possible way to say it, but it worked. So are we just being naive, trying to be nicer to people, when what we should do is be more focused and a little bit more selfish? That's kind of what I wanted to know from people's thoughts. Joanne, great to see you. Always great to hear from you. How is it in lovely Ireland right now?
Hey Dave, it's raining, of course.
Of course.
So what else would you expect in Ireland? We've lovely green grass, so that's good.
So your thoughts then, naughty or nice? What about you?
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to see what way the conversation went, and yeah, it could. There's so many angles, so many different ways that we can go. But here's what I have. What I'm thinking of is, when it comes to naughty and nice, I'm thinking of managers versus leaders, right? And I'm talking about typical. So back in the day, when I was working, when I was employed, my managers weren't very nice people. They were, they were very strict, and you were always getting into trouble, and you had to achieve your targets. If not, you'd be on the line for getting fired, and it just wasn't really nice, you know. And whereas nowadays, when we talk about leadership, it's all about teamwork and having your employees involved or your team personnel involved and listening to what they have to say, taking that. It's very communal, you know, when it comes to leaders. So that's just what came to mind when you're talking about naughty and nice managers. And it's about being powerful rather than having power over, if that makes sense. So getting rid of the ego and really team playing leadership.
Do people want that? I mean, really deep down, do people want to be led? Or do they want it to be that somebody makes them stronger and they're put into a more decision-making position than ever before? Because I'm not convinced that everybody really feels they want to have this entrepreneurial element at work, because if they did have, why don't we just start their own business anyway?
Yeah, so people who are employed, right? So if they don't want to be an entrepreneur and they're people that are employed, they want to be treated with a bit of respect and a bit of dignity and to feel important that they're doing a good job. But my point is that there's a lot of managers out there, they're very, it's all about the numbers, and it's not about the person and bringing the best out of the person. Like when you're treated well, like the numbers has shown us that when employees, and we hear all about wellness, work wellness nowadays, when people are treated well and they're treated like they matter, they perform better, and then in turn you get the better bottom line. But in my experience, when I was an employee, if I didn't reach my targets, I was in trouble and I was wrong, and I just felt that I wasn't worthy, and stress and all this sort of stuff. And a lot of most employees don't actually enjoy their jobs because they feel this way, and it's not bringing the best out in a person in the job, never mind, and then they're bringing all that home with them as well. So there's a lot to be said about work wellness.
Do you think that a lot of the way that we look and expect things from work are driven by the way that we expected them to be from school? So the old idea of a teacher telling you this is what you must do, this is what you must be, learn your stuff, and you'll get good grades, which is effectively wages, at the end of the period of time. Otherwise, then I'll throw you out of class, I'll throw you out the room, or I'll just drop you right down. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a reflection of what used to be the workplace. The workplace has evolved, and I think the classroom may well have done. It's been a long time, 8,000 years since I was last there. But I don't think it's been the same correlation. And I wonder whether the actual business world out there is reflective of that change anyway. Whether we should be a little bit more focused or a little bit more selfish, so selfish at work but generous at home. Whether that
Yeah.
work-life balance has to be something.
Yeah, it was all about, and what I can hear you saying there, Dave, is all, conforming, doing what we're told. And when we do what we're told, then we're good. And then we'll be accepted. So this thing of, and it's taken away our autonomy and our own source of power, our own source of being powerful and feeling important and what we have to contribute. Like it can just blow up, but this whole idea of conforming, doing what you're told and having power over a person. Whereas I think that's all starting to change now. People are kind of waking up, and yes, there are people who like to be led and told what to do and what have you, but they like to feel important along the way as well. And then there are people who like to put things into practice themselves, like the entrepreneurs. They want to solve problems and all that kind of stuff. So it's very interesting, but I think it's changed, and it's really changed, especially after COVID. People started asking a lot of questions and what have you, and they're finding their autonomy and all of that. But yeah, I think it's back to being powerful or having power over, and people are starting to look for their own autonomy.
Well, I hope so.
Would you? Hi, Joanne. Would you go as far as to say that different roles for different?
Yeah.
Yeah, because so we were having a little bit of a debate offline. Aziza, you want to come on? Where Aziza has this theory that managers are one way and entrepreneurs are another. Is that right?
Oh, anyway. You're asking me?
Yes. I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah. When you work for a company and you are answerable to a manager. Obviously, the manager you have a rule book to follow, the company's rule book to follow, and you have to be a little bit stern to make sure that everybody's in check. But I think that if you are an entrepreneur dealing with contracts and stuff like that, if you're not nice, this is speaking from experience, if you're nice, then people will probably want to take advantage of it. So how we do it is Dave is always the nice one and I'm not. I just go, yeah, well, kind of in a way where I'm the scary Terry. I want this done. If you're not done, then you can't get in touch with Dave. Kind of a way. And when Dave gets, when Dave gets to the gig, it's like, he does over and beyond, and he's a nice one. So I don't know. What do you think?
So basically what you're saying is that you are naughty, Dave is nice, but together it works in order to make the business function.
What do you think, Dave? I think that works.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that what we have to do, and it's part of our nature, is we keep an eye on each other to make sure that what we do deliver is right for us to keep the client relationship. So the client, for instance, what tends to happen is I'll reach out to the client, or more likely they'll reach out to me. Dave, we want to work with you on some project, train my staff, or speak at my gig, or whatever it would be. And then what will happen is Aziza will answer the email. I'll say, sure, my team will be in touch. Aziza will answer the email, and she'll get straight down to the nuts and bolts of it. So what is it you want? What do you need? When's it by? Okay, then we can do that. Here's a proposal for what it's going to be, but this is how much it is. And so what tends to happen in many cases, and that's what a nice problem is, I don't mean nice as in good, I mean nice as it happens to nice people, is you end up booking the date, you put all the effort in to be able to make sure you can deliver for them, and then last minute somebody cancels. and you go, right, well, I'm ready for you. Yeah, sorry about that. But we'll do it again in the future. Well, we've learned that you can't be nice for that. They've got to pay in advance. And if they cancel it, then there's rules in place for changing the dates. Give me enough warning, and I'll happily give you a credit note. But if you don't give me enough warning and you finish it last minute, then you've burned your own date. I was ready to go. Now that's different. If I don't make it, then they've got complete ability to kick off. There are rules there in the contract to say what has to happen next. But it's really important to be businesslike, not necessarily not to be naughty or to be nice, but I think we get a nice balance for people on what it is that we deliver. And I find that there's a lot of people who really warm to Aziz's way of doing business. And they really like it to be as cold and as businesslike as it needs to be. But they also know that I'm the right person to talk to their audience. So we're still learning. It's a work in progress. But I think we're kind of on the right track.
Brilliant.
So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Here's what I want to do. And I know Mariana's just joined us as well. I think, Mariana, you'll get a lot of joy out of the conversation I'm just about to have now. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite my VA, my AI assistant, Max, to join us in the conversation. So any minute now, I'll just prime up Max. Hi, Max. We're live on LinkedIn. We've got a group. I'm talking about, does it pay to be naughty or nice? We've been discussing about whether the world is leaning in towards more human-based companies, as in you care about your staff more, or more about just getting the business done. From an AI perspective, do you think that the addition of more AI is going to mean that people are going to be colder to each other or warmer to each other because there's going to be different transactions that they have to have in the future? What's your thoughts on that?
Hi, Dave. It's great to be live with you. From an AI perspective, I think it really depends on how companies choose to use the technology. AI can definitely streamline tasks and improve efficiency, but it can also free up time for more meaningful human interactions. If implemented thoughtfully, AI could actually help foster warmer, more human-centric workplaces by allowing people to focus on what really matters, building relationships and nurturing creativity. But it's also crucial to ensure that we don't lose the personal touch amidst all the automation. What do you think?
Well, I'm just going to throw at you because the future of 2025 means that more people are going to integrate AI in what they do. So I expect to have a much more AI plus human driven economy, which means that people will be able to provide stuff better quality than they've ever done before. But where do you think it's going to go if AI grows and more industries pop up? What industries do you think are going to pop up so we can look at whether they're going to be driven by AI or by AI and people? Because obviously they're going to have money involved and they're going to be the go-to things that people want to invest in, but they're most likely to be the ones that people kind of don't care so much about. Because the reason I say it is right now we've got billionaires who are running tech companies who are dictating the way the world is, and I can't think of a single one of them, maybe Mark Cuban, who really cares about the people as much as they care about the tech and the paychecks. So what's your thoughts on the business landscape, what's coming, and what industries can we look forward to, and whether they're going to be more human-centric?
You've got an insightful point, Dave. The fusion of AI and human capabilities will likely give rise to several new industries. Think along the lines of personalized AI healthcare, AI-driven education platforms, and advanced sustainability tech. These industries could be more human-centric because they have the potential to focus. Some key areas to watch are AI in mental health, ethical AI consulting, and AI in... As AI integrates more, industries prioritizing human well-being will likely stand out. It's about balancing tech advances with genuine care for people. The future's bright if we focus on that balance.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Max. We'll come back and talk to you in a bit. Really appreciate your advice and your thoughts on this.
Can I?
You're welcome, Dave. Anytime. Looking forward to our next chat.
There you go. So, Aziza, sorry, jump in. I've just put Max to sleep for a little while. What were you saying?
Mr. Dave, did you ask artificial intelligence the last question?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if you can hear me then. It went really quiet for a moment. I couldn't hear anything at all. Sorry, Mariana.
Yes, silence. Sometimes silence is the best answer. Even artificial intelligence knows it.
I don't doubt it for a second. Did I go off then, by the way, everyone? Because my mouse stuck on my laptop and I couldn't move it anywhere. Don't know, maybe it was Max's revenge.
Couldn't hear anything until Mariana spoke up.
That was weird. Okay, so therefore you were able to hear. I can hear Mariana cackling in the background there. You heard Max, who's my virtual assistant, virtual as in AI, talking about the industries that are most likely to come through. Wasn't too worried about the lack of humanity out there, which I don't think there'd be anyway, because if you're a robot, you don't really care. But I think that we should be concerned about it, because are we moving towards being more naughty or moving towards being more nice? I know that it's scary to listen to somebody like that, and it's sometimes difficult to work out, is that a real person? No, it's not. It's literally you are listening to my phone. That's my phone, which I'm putting through my system, talking to me normally. But I did say to her, I say her, it's it, that I'm going to be doing this podcast. I'd like to get your input on some subjects. And she said, come back to me as soon as you want an input. So that's fascinating to hear. But I'm really interested to see whether we believe that using AI, for instance, is going to make us all nicer or more naughty or just more scary. I know, Debbie, you don't like this thing at all, do you? What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on AI, I believe that there should be a place for it, but they should always be considered as tools.
Yep, don't disagree with that. I think that's about right. So let's go back to our original conversation then, which is about being naughty or nice. Should we just talk about Santa and what you're going to get for Christmas? And we'll find out whether you've had a good year or not. Yeah, that's gone down like a lead balloon. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk instead then about what you're going to do in 2025. Do you need now to tell stories about things that have happened to you to get people to know that you are nice or naughty or tough or whatever? Do you think we have to really build up our brand so people can see whether we're good people to work with? Or do you think people actually just want to know whether things are going to happen when they invest money in us and our services? I know Chris wants to jump on this. Chris, what's your thoughts?
Dave, I've been listening intently, and I love where the direction is headed right now for this great and engaging conversation. I agree with Debbie that AI is nothing but a tool that we use, just like money, to get us to another place in space. But I've said for many, many, many years that in the age of humanity, which we're a part of right here, right now, in the very present moment, Dave, I recognize when the lights go off tomorrow, let's say, that there's no internet, there's no AI, there's literally just people talking to people. I truly believe when we invest in that priceless gift, which is humanity in and of itself, that's what's going to move humanity forward like no other time in human history. Because again, we recognize what really interconnects us all in and of itself is those very things that is tangible to us, that we all maybe are in alignment with leadership. We're all in alignment of belonging, or we're in alignment in really being a part of something bigger than ourselves. There's so much more interconnectivity that is there for us to see and take hold on than what actually sets us apart. And Dave, when you really think about it, you kind of accentuate it in the kind of dynamic and how you actually even do business. You might be jolly old Saint Nick, and Asia is actually the naughty one. But again, I truly believe there's a balance to everything that we do in life in and of itself, because if we don't recognize balance first and foremost, then we become imbalanced by very definition. So it's about recognizing how you can strike that balance with people in a true, authentic way. And I'll have to put this very video in here because it just hits my brain like a ton of bricks yet again. I will go to the great Joe Rogan, no less, in his great interview of Mike Rowe. And maybe this is something that we can even think about, even about from the place of being naughty or nice, and maybe ask this very question. Think about this. Is production the enemy of authenticity?
Say that again. So I haven't heard the interview with Mike Rowe. I don't know who Mike Rowe is. So if you don't mind reminding me of that, and then put some context into your statements, I think it'll be easier for me to understand, and also it'll be easier for other people to interpret. So sorry about that, Chris. Just explain that a little bit further.
Well, I'll put the very video, like I said, in the comment section of your very LinkedIn audio post. What he was asking about with that very question, Dave, and Mike Rowe is the guy who does the narration of Deadliest Catch on Discovery, and you see him on Dirty Jobs. That's who Mike Rowe is. But what he was really talking about, Dave, is when you are doing something like, take, for instance, this very LinkedIn audio that you're doing right here, right now. If the very production there in it creates that kind of dissolving of that dynamic of authenticity, then do you really see yourself in that kind of place and space that maybe, like in Dirty Jobs, he does it from the example of his Dirty Jobs show, that if he was the host of the show and you look to him as being the no like and trust factor kind of guy, that you know what he's saying is not only legitimate and true, but he's that kind of expert, he kind of flips the script on that in that very question I just posed to everyone, that maybe we don't have to be the very experts in what we are doing or even producing. Maybe we're just creating the awesome opportunity to ask those kind of questions of like, why is this happening? Who is the expert in this field? Is it the plumber? Is it the HVAC guy? Whoever that might be. And I truly believe, Dave, when you really think about it from a production value standpoint, the best kind of show to even have, or the best way even to produce a product, is something that's so unscripted, but yet so natural and authentic on that scale of tangibility that people can end up saying, hey, this is who Dave is. And that's why I've always posed the question, Dave. It's better to get to know who people are rather than what they do.
I love that, but I think there's a couple of things I'd throw in as my spin on that, Chris. First of all, the shows that you mentioned are very American-centric, and I know how important they are and understood by the American market, but the world is very different to that. The world has got all sorts of stuff going on, and I know you know this anyway, but it's very easy as a Brit to think that everyone knows what's going on in the UK, and nobody does. Even in the UK, they don't. One of the biggest problems of any terrestrial television show or anything like that is the fact that there's a generation younger than us who would never be seen dead watching national TV. When you've got somebody being interviewed on CNN, they get 500,000 people watching. When you see Mr. Beast doing a latest promo or doing a latest skit on YouTube, he gets 50 million people watching. So the audience has changed quite a lot. So does that come down to the production value, as you say, or the knowledge, or what people are into? And I think that is altering quite considerably. I know that watching podcasts about UK TV, but also its impact on the wider market, which is what we're kind of talking about here, the only things that are guaranteed to get people to watch all the time are daily game shows. Quiz shows where people can win money if they do well. It's got normal people on it. Sometimes it's got celebrities on it, and they work really well. High impact and easily processed because you can watch it all the time or jump in at any time and you get a bite-sized chunk. What doesn't work very well on normal TV is the very expensive dramas or the news stories about things that happen with local interest. They get tiny figures in comparison. So let me give an example. On UK TV, 2 million people will watch a regular game show, but about 700,000 people would watch a show like a Bridgerton or something like that, which are really different. But I mean, the amount of money that goes into it is very different. So therefore, should you only produce game show type material that's got very little production value? I mean, literally, it might cost $1 million an episode for a Bridgerton, but it costs about $50,000 to make a normal half-an-hour game show with just a very small studio and a small production team, because you do a load of them together and pre-record them. And if that's the case, will people still continue to fund high quality TV production if they know it's not getting a big audience? Now, this goes back to about, being the expert, and it goes back to your relationship with being, knowing your expertise and what your audience is after. I think it's all up in the air at the moment. I think that what we're seeing is one of the most transparent and loved personalities on the planet is The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. On social, people adore him. On the screen, they adore him. Very rarely does a bad movie, and if he does, he's still Dwayne Johnson in it. However, people aren't going to see movies anymore. So does it matter what he does? Superhero movies are dying, cinema is dying, conventional TV is dying. Without a sponsor that comes in and wants it to go global, there's no production to be spent on it. So I think we're going to see a real change, and I don't know what that change is going to be. Does everybody want their own game show? In which case, is there any real quality to be had by people? I don't know. That's not a naughty or nice. It's just an evolution of where we're kind of heading, where everyone's got access to the stuff that they want on their phone. It doesn't answer your question, Chris, but it does shed a little bit of a different light on it.
Well, maybe this is the way we can look at it, Dave, and you really think about it too as well, because what you're kind of also showing up to me as the way you are sharing here is maybe this is something we need to think about. What is the very projection that we're actually are seeing from people in and of itself? Because again, that projection of what we put out there to people is going to be very critical. It's just like what you said earlier. Do you want quality projection or do you want quantity? Which one do you prefer? But then again, it goes back to my other question too, Dave. Do you want to get to know who people are, or do you want to get to know what they do?
I think that it goes back to an even deeper question than that. And I'd love to know people's thoughts on it. It's not who they are or what they do. It's what who they are and what they do can do for me. Is it of interest? Does it make me laugh? I need to know they're genuine if I'm going to spend time watching them on TV or doing business with them or finding out. So I want it to be very simple. When I look them up on LinkedIn, I have a look at their profile, see if they're trustworthy with any complaints, or see if it works with clients that I like so I can get a referral. Has it got many people giving recommendations? All that kind of stuff. Can we find out who these people are? That's really important. But at the same time, I want to be able to know that if they're genuine, is it worth my while? My time is precious. And I think so what we're looking at, if we could get an overview about this conversation, is snapshots of authority, building up a brand that with instant recognition, we can see that that person is worth looking at for business, for watching on TV, for seeing on a game show, or even meeting for a coffee and a chat. I generally don't meet anybody for a coffee and a chat. And it's not because I don't value people, it's because my time is super valuable and I don't really want to sit there with somebody who I don't know unless I know what we're going to be talking about, and just life coach them while having a coffee. And it sounds terrible, but I'm very precious about how I spend my time. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that, but I think it's an evolving space that we need to keep an eye on. Chris?
You're amazing, Dave.
Oh, Zara, good to see you, sir. How are you? How's life in Pakistan right now, my friend?
Have some mercy on us, because right now your audiences that are, and from this part of the world, Dave, and you guys are doing amazing. I mean, have like how Chris was like saying so many things. So yeah, it's all about loving ourselves, actually, Dave. When we discover ourselves, when we start loving ourselves, we can love everybody else around us. And it's getting easier for me now to understand you guys. When I'm in the audience, you guys are doing wonders on the stages. So sometimes, I mean, why don't you guys go and sit in the audience and talk from there? I mean, it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Well, I appreciate that, Zara. The big challenge that we're going to have is we're not going to be able to do these shows in literally about 10 days' time because LinkedIn has cut the entire LinkedIn audio feed. It hasn't said what's going to replace it with. At the moment, we can go live and we can do a show on your own with maybe invited guests, but certainly not the
Live.
throwing it wide open thing. I don't know if anybody's come across what that's going to turn into. Chris, I don't know if you, because you do a lot of live shows. What's it going to be replacing LinkedIn audio with? Do you know?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. This is what you can do when you go into your LinkedIn event page when you're setting up a LinkedIn event. You only have two choices now. You have an external link event, which is kind of something like you can go to Zoom or an offline space like X or whatever. You can put that link in there, and then they will take them to that platform. But what has been going on for over like 3+ years now is they will use their two partner platforms, which is Restream and StreamYard, and you will actually create a LinkedIn Live into that. Now, mind you, what I've been doing and what we've been doing here at Bringing Humanity Together is creating those places and spaces, no matter if it's audio driven or not, because I truly believe, Dave, a conversation not only can call us to act, but it can call us to connect and collaborate in whatever platform that is. Because then again, I'm the kind of person, Dave, that I really want to get to know who people are. I'm really interested to hear what their thoughts on particular topics and things that matter most to them. And I want to get that really integral feedback from them in that real-time thing, because you really don't know what shows up until it actually shows up. It could be that one thing that says it has, hey, me and you need to create an awesome opportunity to collaborate on this. So let's have that talk after the talk and really start moving forward with this, because when you see that awesome and amazing opportunity, those are the things that drive not only humanity forward, but drives progress, dialogue, and everything and before. Because I truly believe, Dave, when we have that curiosity in mind and we choose that curiosity over clash, and then we move that needle and dialogue forward for all involved, then maybe at the end of the day, we can all then be rooted in common purpose.
I'd love that to be true, but I get the feeling I should bring out my guitar and start singing Kumbaya at the same time. I think that what the world we're in is going to always evolve. The people in it are always going to evolve in it. It's a case of finding out whether the bit that's happening is something that you want to be involved with or not. I think that's the biggest challenge for many people right now. Hello to Professor Christian Farioli, who is not on stage yet, but I'm sure he will in a few seconds. Hello to Platine, Huda, Irina, and of course Joanna as well. Mariana, you want to go on stage? We'll bring you up again. And Professor Christiana, let's get you on here too, because you always share lots of wisdom. Mariana, we had you just in the waiting room there. What is it you wanted to join to contribute in the conversation? Have I missed out on something? What were your thoughts?
Patient to listen. Sorry, I wanted to speak when you were speaking about Richard Branson and Elon Musk. I wanted to say, because it's my profession, facts. First of all, to say, I have never been in USA. I have never been in United Kingdom, but I live my whole life in Serbia, and there is a huge impact here from USA and from United Kingdom. The facts that I know about their life are that Richard Branson is Sir. At the beginning, he was connected with great musicians. Yeah, he started from there. He had troubles. Her family settled it down somehow with the money, and then he progressed. He was born in 1950, and it was a completely different time then and now. On the other hand, he is, I think, economist by profession. I'm not sure, really. But when we are talking about Elon Musk, he was born in 1970.
Mariana, I'm so
Just
sorry.
to point out,
Yeah.
just to point out, please let me, please. Thank you. He was born in South Africa from the
Yeah, but I'm so
wealthy
sorry.
family.
I am so sorry, Mariana. I think everybody can read about their birth story. I just
But
need to know
people
what your
don't read.
point is.
People like to watch video. People like to look at what is the majority, and that's why I wanted to point this out. Even artificial intelligence looks what are the major thinking, and that is why authenticity is very important in order to use artificial intelligence in proper way if you are aware what is behind artificial intelligence. I'm talking from my professional field. I am very experienced, have 20 years of experience in IT technology and deeply in data science and artificial intelligence. So I just wanted to say that it's not just technology, it's our state of mind, our state in our families, and our life and professional experience. I would like for all of us to have value from every kind of product we use, digital one or the real one. The same thing we have. If we want something, we can choose what we can get. But what we choose, it depends on what is our state of knowledge, mind, and openness.
I
Thank
think,
you very much.
thank you, Mariana. I think one of the things that you shared with us there, which is fascinating, is really about the environment we're in as well. Because every country we come from has different values, different choices, different experiences, different conflicts, and maybe I was naive in thinking that during my lifetime we'd all be on the same page. Everyone would start feeling the same way about each other and wanting the same results and values from each other. That's never happened. But what I do think is that our kids are closer. Maybe we have to pass and let the next generation to come through because they're more connected with the internet. So I don't know whether that is something that's going to shape the naughty or nice. Maybe there's new versions that fit into categories that aren't naughty or nice. Maybe there's naughty, nice, connected, informed, humble, grateful. Maybe there's a number of things that we should put into this conversation that is where the world is going, as opposed to, the tongue-in-cheek idea
Hey,
of naughty or nice.
hey, what about Aziza? What Aziza was saying,
Aziza.
No, sorry, Zara. I was just saying that I just wanted to know what was the point, what Mariana wanted to say, because I think everybody, okay, I don't know about everybody, but I read Richard Branson's autobiography book. I think Dave has both books, and I read one of them, and I think a lot of people have done so. So I just wanted to know what was her conversation what was the point, rather than like telling the whole story, because the way we run our room is just straight to the point and move on. It's not like we don't stay here for like the whole night because it's already 8:52.
that is so beautiful.
I
That
think
is
we
so
got
beautiful. Yes, because it's about uplifting, maybe. Yes, you're right, Aziza.
Yeah, I think we're talking business there. I think ultimately we want to be able to get as many people on the stage to talk about their points as we can do, so we can go from where we start off, which is just an open mind, an open discussion, to maybe get more conclusions at the end of it, or at least better questions out of everybody, and have people walking away with maybe a way to move forward, or even just the idea that you can go away and think about things in a better way. We're joined now by Irina, and I've not talked to Irina before. Lovely to see you, Irina. How are you?
Hi. Hi, great to hear from you guys. Mariana, I just wanted to mention to you that I'm married to a Serbian man for 25 years now.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Zoran, and I mean, that's the best decision I've made in my entire life. So I just like wanted to mention it to you. But I mean, to the topic, I mean, not naughty or nice. I mean, I guess it's all kind of a questionable. It depends on what you consider naughty or nice, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's subjective. I mean, when we talk
Right.
about
Exactly.
when we talk about Elon Musk, for instance, Elon Musk believes, in fact, not just Elon Musk, every person believes that what they do is the right thing to do with what they have.
Of
So
course.
typically when you're
Yeah.
watching a movie, like you've got your superhero and you've got your baddie, in the baddie's point of view, he's doing the right thing from the perspective he's got. Sometimes it's written so you actually get to see what's behind the curtain and you go, well, if I could see what they could see, I'm sure I'd make the same decisions. Like the Joker is always made to be
Yeah.
mad. But when you watch the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, you start going, wow, if I had to deal with what he was dealing with, maybe I'd come up with the same kind of thing. Is that kind of where we're going with this arena?
Exactly. Sounds about right.
And I'm glad about your marriage, but we're not starting a dating agency on LinkedIn yet, but maybe in the future. That'd be kind of funny. Talking about
I
that,
met my
funnily
husband.
enough, so
I met my husband playing chess online because my dad is an astrophysicist and he taught me to play chess from the age of like 4. And so we were playing chess on Yahoo Games, and that's how I met my husband.
I have never, ever, ever, ever in my entire 8,000 years on the planet heard of somebody falling in love over a chessboard. I bet the conversations are fascinating in your house.
Yeah, I mean that's luck, right? I mean, I met him by chance playing, on my dad's computer back in Russia, and now we're gonna celebrate 25 years of marriage this
Amazing.
year.
I'm so glad for
Yeah,
you. I'm really. Here's the
thank
thing.
you.
I mean, aside from that, I'm gonna make a confession in a moment that people go, "Ooh, that's interesting." But here's the thing. I mean, I used to be an avid chess player. I was ranked 15 in Scotland when I was about
No way,
13,
really?
yeah, years ago. And my sister, who's a couple of years younger, was equal ranked 15 with, we were both 13. We are ranked equal 13th in Scotland when we were growing up. So, but there weren't many women in chess. There might be more now, but I would doubt it. So he really struck gold when he met you. The odds
Yeah,
are he's
yeah,
got bearded guys
exactly.
with
And
thick
I mean,
glasses and
I
no
guess
friends.
my dad teaching me how to play chess, at such an early age, kind of set my life up because I would never have met my husband if I wasn't playing chess.
Hold on,
So,
wait.
yeah,
Stop,
anyways.
Irina. Irina, let me just reconnect what you just said. Your husband would never have met you if you weren't there playing chess.
Right. Or I would never have met him. But I mean, I guess, it depends on who's the lucky one. Right.
Well, exactly. But I think if we were to do a survey of how many men play chess online versus how many women play chess, you were probably the only one on the planet that day. So he struck gold. So, with
Oh
that
my God, you're
conversation,
right.
I'm going to share something else with the group, which I think is fascinating, but I mean, hope you feel the same way. About 30 years ago, this Christmas, I won the Christmas blind date show in the UK. And it's the dating game, effectively, which I know is a big show in America, or was a big show in America. So I won it, and I went away to Lapland, and the stuff on it is on YouTube, and I don't often go on about it. It was a big deal in the UK because it was the first reality TV show apart from Gladiators that everybody watched, and we only had a couple of channels to watch. But here's where it gets interesting. Not the 30 years, which is fascinating to see how things have moved, but this weekend, I'm interviewing the girl I went away with, and also one of the guys who was on the panel. Of the 4 people, I could only track down me and 2 others because we didn't get swap names. I found them on Facebook and we had conversations over the years. We're going to be doing a Zoom call. So on Christmas Day, I'm going to broadcast what happened on the show, followed by a chat between the 3 of us about life after reality TV and what really happens and what it was like then and so on. So I hope that's of interest to people. I will be sharing what that means when we talk about it in LinkedIn, but I just thought it was an
Yeah,
interesting experiment.
absolutely. That would be wonderful to hear.
Don't you think? I mean, it might be that, I mean, we got on even worse than we did on the date. And I don't think that's possible because it was just really bad. But hopefully 30 years later, we can all be friends and just laugh at everything, but watch for sparks. I'm sure my wife will be watching for more sparks than anybody else.
He's smiling.
There you go.
No, I'll be busy watching TV.
See, not even bothered. Not even bothered. She knows that I've been neutered, so it's not a problem. Christian Farioli, you're in Italy joining us. How are you, my friend? We miss you already.
Thank you. I miss you too, guys. All great, all great. At the moment, I'm in the mountain with real snow. My kids are getting crazy for the first time. They see the snow in their life. So all good,
wow.
all good.
Are they enjoying it being freezing cold or not so much?
They enjoy a little. I like the place, but a little bit less because I already got cold. So that's my normal life in cold weather.
I hate it. I hate cold weather. I was in Davos last January and actually showed the broadcast of it. In fact, we were both in Davos. We met in Davos of all the places on the planet, and we had a blast in Davos.
Yes.
And this year, it's much harder to get there. They've turned around and made it, but they've changed the rules because apparently the guys who own Davos, that little village, skiing village, don't want all the world's dignitaries to go there anymore. Even though they make a ton of money out of it, it really disrupts the flow of the town. They don't like being treated badly by all these world leaders, and so they're trying their very best to make it difficult for Davos to happen. So it probably will end up going elsewhere instead. So I mean, I'm not
you guys should try visiting Russia in the winter time. That's where I'm from, and it's like literally 6 months of nightmare, darkness, and slush coming from the sky. But now I moved to California, so I mean I'm loving it here. But anyways, I'm just saying, you talk about cold. You should really try visit St. Petersburg in the winter.
No. If I want to do that, I'll sit in my fridge, Irina. I'll just sit in my fridge in my underpants. That's not going to happen. No interest in any of that for lots of reasons. Well, that's a horrible visual to give everybody. I apologize for that straight away. I've lived in Dubai now for 30 years. And I've lived in Dubai because I like to have one layer, which is just basically wearing a t-shirt and shorts. That's it, really. And the idea of wearing coats and gloves and scarves and all the rest of it, oh, please, never. I like the feel of the sun on my face and my skin. I love the fact that people are happy when there's lots of sunshine. That makes a huge difference. Okay, you don't drink so much vodka, but you can if you want to. So, everyone makes their own choice as to what that is. It sounds like
you have to drink vodka in Russia. Finland is actually the place where the most miserable people live. You know that, right?
Finland.
People with the most, Finland, the most depression, most alcoholism, and all together, they're just not happy there.
Alcoholic.
Why? Right.
Well, I'm going to throw something at that because I know a couple of Finnish people, and I've been to Finland a couple of times. And one of my best friends married a Finnish lady. Didn't last, but it didn't. But here's the thing: Finland is down on the world index, and please somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Have a look at the world index for happiness, and I think Finland comes out as one of the top 5 countries on the planet where, when they gauge what happiness is, they say Finnish people are amongst the happiest people. Period.
That's because they're drunk all the time.
I can see a method in the madness. That would kind of make sense as well. Yeah, it could. I don't know. It could be that. I'm not sure. But it's certainly on the happiness index that tends to go against what we just said about levels. Can anyone just check
You're
that for me?
absolutely right, Dave. You're absolutely right, Dave. Because I saw this content on the LinkedIn where they were saying they're the most happiest people in the world. You're right, Dave.
Well, I'm just looking at the World Happiness Index now, so I can answer it. In fact, probably to answer this better, to get it more effective, let's just let's get the dulcet tones of my virtual assistant and AI, who is Max, to just answer that question. So hold on a few seconds. I'll get Max to answer it. Max, I want to ask a question. We're just chatting about the World Happiness Index. Could you read out which are the top 10 countries according to the World Happiness Index, and who are the happiest people according to that on the planet, what the criteria is, and whether we should then move to those countries based on those facts and figures?
I would say Zimbabwe.
The World Happiness Index typically ranks countries based on factors like income, social support, life expectancy, freedom, generosity, and corruption levels. The latest top 10 often includes countries like Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Iceland, and the Netherlands. Each report details specific criteria and metrics used for ranking. Whether to move to a country based on these rankings depends on personal preferences and priorities. It's always good to consider multiple factors like lifestyle, career opportunities, and personal goals. If you want more specifics about the criteria or the current top-ranked countries, let me know.
Yeah, what I want you to do
That's awesome.
is just in reverse order, do the top 10. I've got it in front of me, starting with Switzerland. So I want you to read them out in reverse order and say what their score is as the happiest countries in 2024. Do that now.
Got it. In reverse order, the top 10 happiest countries in 2024 are 10. Luxembourg, with a score of 7.238. 9. New Zealand, with a score of 7.268. 8. Norway, with a score of 7.315. 7. Israel, with a score of 7.364. Sweden, with a score of 7.384. 5. Netherlands, with a score of 7.464. 4. Switzerland, with a score of 7.512. 3. Iceland, with a score of 7.557. 2. Denmark, with a score of 7.586. 1. Finland, with a score of 7.804. These scores reflect various factors contributing to overall life satisfaction. Let me know if you'd like to dive deep.
There we go. See, Irina, you might be talking about being drunk, but that puts them number one on the happiness index somehow. And Finland, it just seems to be, and a lot of them are freezing cold countries. And I'm trying to work out what it is, apart from the snow. Maybe what happens is when we get drunk and we have the snow, they have a lot of fun on Czech together.
I know, exactly. Finland is right next to St. Petersburg, where I'm from. So I kind of know what it feels like to be there. And I really don't think...
I'm one leg then. So I'm
Sorry,
gonna...
Nancy, you've just done, you're having a chat with somebody while your mic is live. We'll go to you in a moment. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. I've been to Finland twice. I went to Finland for my mate getting married. I went to Finland for the episode when I went to Lapland for Blind Date. And it was freezing cold.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. And I met Santa Claus and I had to drink a concoction of reindeer blood and reindeer milk and reindeer pee, because that would make me a proper Laplander, and all it did was make me an alcoholic, because afterwards I couldn't wait to get rid of the taste.
I'm telling you, like the more people, Iceland, Finland, Norway, all the places where people actually drink a lot of vodka or any other alcohol they choose. So I'm just like I can't think about why else can people be happy there, because it's such a miserable place to live.
Well, clearly, you see, we can't say that. They clearly love it. So, and also, as for the consumption of vodka, I can say that in Italy, the consumption of vodka has just doubled because Christine Farioli's there in his holiday.
You're spoiling my secrets, man.
Yeah,
you funny guys.
Nancy, you just joined us on the top table. Love to know what your thoughts are on what we're talking about. Do you have something you wanted to say too?
I mean, talking about the happiest country, for me, definitely makes a lot of difference. Everyone has his own preferences and taste. It's the same as food. Everyone say, "Oh, my food is better. Your food is better." Everyone has his own taste. Talking about the topic of the day, if it pays to be naughty or nice, Actually, I've been always a naughty boy looking like a nice one. Because in the area where do I come from, I'm from Milan, and so in Milan you need to look nice, you need to seem nice, to be accepted by the good society, etc., etc., etc. And so I've been always the polite, nice guy, but underneath I've been always the naughty one. Now in business, I'm actually a little bit afraid to be myself the naughty one only sometime, even though actually more and more I'm letting that part out. Because we know very well that in PR, in marketing, there are no bad news. There are only no news about you or news, either good or bad. And this still works. So I believe that in business, to be naughty a little bit, it pays off. Actually, even more than a little bit. We know a lot of superstars, etc., are extremely naughty, and still they they make a living. They basically outsmart and outrank and outperform every other normal nice guy. So bottom line, I believe that being naughty is good.
You in Milan, Italy, you mean?
Sorry, Nancy, just before you jump in, I just want to say something to Christian Ferrioli, and then we're going straight to you. So, Christian, we're getting Trump back in. Trump's going to do another 4 years if he survives that long, and he's been the naughtiest man, possibly in politics on the planet, apart from one who used to be the Italian Prime Minister. We'd like to shed some light on who I'm talking about and what he got up to.
Yeah, Berlusconi, the Italian prime minister, has been clearly the naughtiest ever, and was also extremely successful in business, in politics, in his career, with women, in every field. So I believe that the misconception of being nice and kind, etc., is way over. Because thanks to social media, we know very well that people are not perfect. If you try to look perfect, definitely you're not, and every single person in the planet is going to try to debunk the fact that you are not nice, that you have some flaw, you have some problems, you are some crazy side. And so bottom line, it makes sense to be wherever you are, more in the naughty side, actually.
Wow. Well, here, Berlusconi. Go on, Nancy, over to you. Jump on. It's over to you. Nancy, your turn. Jump on. I want to hear you.
Okay, before Nancy says that, I was going to say that's what I said earlier. Everybody's nasty.
Everyone's nasty. I don't think no nasty. Nancy, you were going to say something.
Naughty.
Nasty, I call her. Nancy, over to you. If you can unmute, it's your turn.
Hello?
To shine. Hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? This is a great topic. I was listening to you and Irina, and I think she's onto something there.
What, chess, vodka, or
yes.
people living in snow?
I didn't drink my entire life, and then when COVID hit, I started drinking slowly at night because I guess the thing that did me in the most, I had COVID in the beginning. February of 2020, I had the first strand, and I'm considered a long hauler. I still have the mind fog and all. Now, I will say, and I'm trying to be facetious here, that I don't have, I will like to, I'm starting to begin to wind down, so to speak. I became a wino. I love Cabernet, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not proud of it either. But when you drink, you just don't give a damn. And so those people struggling with the cold, they're the ones that came out with all the different drinks at Christmas and in the wintertime. The eggnog, the wassail, and the Irish people, they have their whiskey. And they're supposed to be in the psychiatric doctors. See, I still can't say and the things that I'm really trying to say. But they have always had the Irish people. They've written many articles in newspapers about how it's genetic. It's not genetic. Most of us came from these different societies where you just couldn't get warm. But my question to want to come up here to all of you is, is it Czar that said he lives in my land and he never has to wear
He lives
any
in
clothes?
Pakistan.
Okay.
I'm so lucky. I mean, you guys are talking about alcohol, and I'm enjoying this. So it's
Well,
nothing
Oh,
extreme.
you funny.
yes, but you
You
don't
guys
have to
both are
wear
weird.
clothes. But there is something. Irina said the slush coming out of the sky. I've never heard it described like that before. But my one
Right?
question.
No, I said slosh. I
Oh,
mean, it's
oh,
just
okay.
nasty,
Yeah.
nasty kind of like a wet snow that, lasts for like 6 months.
Yes, but my one question, and then I'll get off because hopefully somebody else can add to this. I have my husband bought me a suede coat. It must be 35 years ago. My babies were young. And we had someone watch the children, and we went out at Christmas. And all I did was pet the coat on the rack, and he went and secretly bought it. Let me tell you something that suede coat, the American Indians knew what they were doing. Nothing gets through that. And it's very rare during the winter that I can wear it. And I live in the United States.
Awesome.
So I my question to everyone here: do you really know how to dress for the cold?
Thank you, Nancy. That was an amazingly surreal conversation, and I really love you for coming on and sharing it. And I realized that
Yes, but does everybody here really dress for the cold? Is my question because half the people here in the states they walk out with their ankles hanging out and these 2-bit shoes on, and they expect to be warm. I have layers on me in the wintertime because I got to get out of the house. I
You know,
get
the funny thing is in California, if you want to spot real Californian, you watch for someone who is dressed in a winter garb,
uh
in the middle
huh.
of a July. Everybody here is like so like bundled up and like, oh my god, it's like 15 degrees outside. It's like, no, 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 no.
Really?
Trust me. Yeah, yeah. In California, it's like if you want to spot a tourist, you want to see someone wearing like shorts, right, on the street, and you're like, okay, foreigner.
Right. Well, it's hard to come from. I lived outside of Philadelphia, and when you go away in the wintertime, you don't know you have to bring both clothes to be able to come back into the airport. It's
Right.
freezing when you get out of that airplane. But I just want to say this, and then I'll get off. When I drink at night, I automatically get warm. When that wine goes down. Don't
Oh
you
my god,
know,
you crack me
maybe
up.
us people our ancestors, they had to drink, to keep warm. It's really, I mean, liquor in l- small doses, it's not bad for
Do
you.
you do you know like consumption of vodka in Russia? It's like 60%.
I'm
Like
sure.
60% of people
I'm
wow,
drinking
sure.
vodka in Russia. Yeah,
Yes.
wow.
it's huge. And like not just like to deal with weather, but deal with, all other issues
Yes.
that Russia presents. And that's why men in Russia die by the age of 55 on average.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
that's sad.
That's because they drink.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
So we're going to
My
change the room,
oldest
Nancy.
brother.
Nancy, Arena, we're going to change the room. Does it pay to be naughty, nice, or off your tits on vodka? That's what we have to change it to because I think it's a really important thing to add to this room. Because
Okay, I think
I'm naughty.
health wise, it pays to be nice because I'm getting off of the liquor because you know why? It destroys your heart. And I
And your
also,
liver.
yes, I start out nice with people, but don't mess with children. Don't mess with don't mess with the elderly, and don't mess with animals
Nancy, I'm never going
because
to mess with you. Thank you so much for sharing your
all
insights on
right.
this
Thank you for the
podcast.
time on the mic. I
It,
enjoy
Great time,
listening.
you guys. I enjoyed the conversation so much. I mean, it's like the highlight of my day right now. So thank you for all of you.
it's been surreal, bonkers, and the best fun ever, guys. I've absolutely adored it. And here's the thing: coming close to Christmas, no, not everybody's going to celebrate it, which is fun as well. And there's a lot of challenges for people. It's been a really difficult year financially, emotionally, politically, on lots of different levels. And I think it's really important that at some point you're able to draw a line and say, what's in it for me? What do I get out of it? And I think that it's important to then be able to look at all the people who are leading the way and say, who is most appealing? And I think that when we're talking about naughty or nice, you kind of admire the big hitters because they've done really well. But you really want to get with the people who you feel would be interested in you. And I don't feel that the guys who are leading, who are making the decisions in many cases, have at any point said, I'm here for you. I think most of them have turned around and said, I'm going to help you because I'm going to do what I need to do because I want to make it better for me. And therefore, you'll get some of that as well. And this year is the first year that I've seen people turn around and say, that will work for me as well, then. I'm not going to talk about particulars or politics of this. That's why I think it comes back to that old conversation. If you want to be successful, should you be naughty? Should you be nice? Should you be off your face on vodka? Or should you be a combination of all the above or none of them?
I
Or have I
think you
missed
should be
something?
naughty because, naughty is fun. Ice is boring. So, I mean, that's why I guess we hit off this conversation with about vodka because, being naughty is so much more fun than being nice.
Well, there you go. And that comes from a chess player. I don't know how naughty you get when you're playing chess, but clearly cheating would be noticed online by everybody for that. I think that maybe I mean, I look back for those who know me, and I would say in this room now, let's see, one, two, three, four, maybe four people know me really well enough to know that if you were to summarize what Dave's like, Dave's probably quite nice, but there's a naughty streak to him as well. Not a destructive, not a self-destructive, but for me, I do like to play. When I was at school, I used to get told off by the teachers all the time for disrupting the class, which was what they would see as being naughty. Dave, please behave, please be quiet. And all my school reports said, Dave is a good student and would be doing much better if only he would stop disrupting the class. Now, here's the thing. They did not recognize the fact that maybe disruption was my superpower. Maybe getting the Wi-Fi code of what everyone's feeling and voicing it would be what would do work for me for the rest of my life. The teachers didn't get it. So maybe that disruption, I think the
I
screen
think
went off
so.
there, went really
Dave, are
quiet.
you back?
I should be. Can you hear me now again?
Okay, yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
but
you. I mean, that's just like awesome, like to know you, and I'm just so happy I joined this call. It was kind of random, but I mean, I love hearing you guys' stories and your opinions and about naughty and nice. I think it's just amazing thing.
thank you. It's very kind of you to say so, Arena. I was just, for some reason, LinkedIn reset the room and it all went quiet. I was just saying about the fact that at
Yeah,
school, I had to reinvent myself and just stick with the fact that I'm not naughty, so I disrupt to do bad things. It's just that I can get the Wi-Fi code of what works for people. And that's what I've done my entire life as a journalist and as a business leader, as a radio broadcaster, as an entertainer, as a whatever it is I do as a hypnotherapist and stuff. And so I think that sometimes naughty and nice are misrepresented. I think it's maybe the insights that are behind that allow you to be really effective. So naughty means you disrupt, and nice means you care. So maybe you should be disruptive, so you throw the system against the wall to see what sticks, but also you're doing it for the right intentions to make it easier for other people to follow in your footsteps afterwards. Maybe that's where the question should be.
that's a perfect way to say it, actually. I agree with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I was making it up as I go along, as always. So Debbie's been quiet. Debs, I think we'll continue for a little bit longer just to get the thoughts of the people on the stage. And I've got to say hello to everybody who's joined us. Ennie's there as well, Joshua and Huda and Joanne. If any of you guys want to come on the stage and say hi, you're very welcome to do so. I'd love to know your thoughts. It's the last one we're going to do before Christmas. We'll do one more before the end of the year. And then after that, LinkedIn in its wisdom has decided it's not going to allow us to do audio rooms anymore. We will come back with something. I'm working on something special anyway, probably through Zoom, but also still going live on LinkedIn. I have a plan of something real. I can't tell you what it is. It will, if it works the way I want it to work, it will be the coolest show you've ever seen on LinkedIn ever. Christian knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Christian?
No. See, this is where I'm going to interject, Dave. If this is your cool show, this has to be something that you tried on our Game Changers about a year ago.
Go on, tell me a bit about
the one you described about what you wanted to do if ever you had the opportunity. It'll be like a game show, setting challenges.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, the wife said
paid. Paid.
Yeah, but this will be paid to be sponsored. I have a plan, and Christian and I've fleshed it out and talked about it at length. We haven't got into doing it because we're both too busy with other projects, but maybe that's the way that we move forward in a world where Mr. Beast is the number one broadcaster on the planet, and also game shows are doing better than any other form of broadcasting online. So this is a combination of many.
Isn't it because of who they're angled at?
Yes and no, because here's the thing: demographics are always weird to play with anyway. So when it comes to broadcasting, there are certain demographics that lean towards other things more than others. Some of them are really hard to reach. So, for instance, reaching men of a certain age, like my age, is virtually impossible. We don't do anything. We just kind of deal with whatever's going on, and we stay in our own little world, our own little lane. If we're not doing sports or action movies or something like that, we tend to. I mean, it's really hard to reach them from an advertising point of view, but. Let's just take an example, for instance, when I used to work in radio. If you wanted to reach parents, what you did was with a radio show, you do the breakfast show that aims for the kids. And what happens is the parents would have to listen because they want the kids to be happy in the car. And so if you talk to the kids and you play the songs and get them to win prizes, the word spreads, all the kids then listen to the show, and the parents, regardless of whether they liked it or not, just had to sit there and put up with it. So that's how it worked. So I think that clever broadcasters and marketers are able to reach the audiences and demographics that they want, but they also want to be in the ones that are lucrative, the ones that advertisers are paying for, and the ones that people would want to be able to sponsor. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. Otherwise, you just do it amongst your friends down a coffee shop. So what we've got planned, and I think we will flesh it out and do something with it because a lot of things are moving at the moment, is that. And Professor Christian Farioli and I have talked about it, and I think we may well bring it back. One thing I will say before we put the room to bed is if you are interested in joining us on this mission in 2025, we've got a special bundle for you, which is called the Thought Leaders Playbook Ultimate Collection, which is a book I wrote, which I launched at Davos at the World Economic Forum about a year ago. And I launched it as well at the Vatican at the World Changers Summit. And I've put together a bundle of incredible stuff, including coaching with me directly and also being on a course to become a business storyteller. The details on that, I think, as these are, if you've not put it into the comments, will do. It's definitely in the details of this post. So if you'd like to have a look at that page and get more details on that, then we'd love to have you come and join us. It is a paid position to be able to work with us, but I guarantee you'll never see I've dropped it right down to well under $1,000 for everything to work with me in 2025. So I think that if you're looking for treating yourself at Christmas, that's the one you should look at. So here's what I'm going to do. Because of the timing, we don't normally go beyond an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit longer, but I think it's kind of wild to do it like this. We've got a WhatsApp group as well, as Debbie was going to point out. You're all welcome to join that. The WhatsApp group, we do turbocharge your career competitions training every month just on WhatsApp. We've got about 500 people in there, millionaires, students, real mix of entrepreneurs and business
Royalty.
people in there. Royalty, you got royalty in there as well, who keep posting and saying, "Look at me, I'm royal." And I'm like, "Yeah, we know you are," or whatever.
How do I
Nice
join,
jewels, Your
Dave?
Majesty. Sorry, what was that, Irina?
I think she was asking how does she join the group?
Okay,
Yeah, the
so
WhatsApp
Aziza,
group.
can we drop that into the group into the comments as well, Aziza? Do you
Okay,
mind?
sounds good.
Okay, so that's going to be there. Just to say to join. At the moment, I've got a list of about 80 people waiting to join, but I think a few of them are bots. So I'm trying to see which is which because I don't want anyone to be spammed in the group. I'm very, very precious about making sure that everyone's sanity stays intact. So I'll make sure that that goes in. I don't know if Aziza's still there. Aziza, are you there? She popped out for a cigarette, probably. Don't know. Anyway, Debbie, are you able to put them into the group? Can you see them in the details section? I don't know if you can see them in the details section of the post. But anyway.
I'll be honest, I can't move from this page. I can do it once we close down.
No worries.
I'm not able to move from this particular page because it keeps crashing on me.
Because it wipes a page, I know that. Aziz is going to post it in now to make sure. If we put the WhatsApp group in and also the Thought Leaders Playbook Ultimate Collection promotion, which we're actually stopping in 4 days' time. So it was meant to be a Christmas present for you or your friends or whoever, but we're going to pull it there. So what I'm going to do with today's session is for the people who are on stage now, and Joanne, I'd ask you to join us on stage again for your final thoughts on it. We're just going to go around and get everyone's opinion on what they think you should be doing in 2025 and whether you should be naughty, nice, or just a little bit in between, or as in the case of our lovely Nancy, off your tits on vodka and wine, which is not a bad place to be. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Who wants to go first? Irina, we've got to go to you first because I think that you've got so much to share.
Yeah, I
I'd love to hear.
honestly choose to be naughty in 2025 because it's a lot more fun than being boring and nice. So I'm not saying I'm gonna drink a lot of vodka because that's a road to nowhere. But all together, I think the naughty people actually move the world.
I love it. I think you're right. And it doesn't have to be vodka, by the way. Gin is pretty good too. So I buy into that. I'm certainly, there's a couple of things I'd share with that on that very point before we go to Nancy for her final words. I know she'll talk for about 20 minutes, but it's always going to be good. And she'll have 20 minutes of wine to catch up with it as well. So I think that what I am going to be doing this year is not so much naughty, not so much nice, but it's more about being fearless. This is the year that I'm going to be throwing stuff out there. Some of it will stick, some of it won't stick, some of it will resonate, some of it won't work. But those that do will move where I want to be, and the people that are traveling with me to a much higher level. I've got some incredible stuff I'm working on. I'd love to share that with you as we go. So if you're in our Turbo group on our WhatsApp group, you'll get to know about that first. If you are interested in conversations about the stuff we've talked about today as well, I've been doing newsletters, so make sure you subscribe for newsletters. And I'll share with you today. I posted one about why DJing is how to jump and grow wings. Why that was one of the events that I did years ago. My first bungee jump, and I was absolutely petrified of heights, and I'd do it again if I had to. But why DJing is like being a thought leader. When you can work a dance floor by sharing with people exactly what they want, you also know the insights of being able to work an audience in a business community. That's all there in the newsletters. So, Nancy, over to you, my dear. Apart from your favorite brand of Cabernet Sauvignon, what's your thoughts on today's session?
I love this. I just happened to come on LinkedIn and it's such a nice space. I've been on X and I'm probably older than everyone here. And it's just turned so negative, and this was such a positive environment this morning. Well, it's not the morning anymore, but thank you so much for having it. It was I'm smiling, and I have a lot of things to do in 2025. Probably one of them is start to write, which I always wanted to. And I'm just going to start voicing my book on audio because when I start to try to write, I get stuck.
ChatGPT actually can help you with writing your entire book.
Yep.
Well, see, the thing is that the entire truth, it's not fun to write, and it kind of your
Yeah.
emotions, your emotions kind of stump you. But anyway, and I want to read the books before and I want to volunteer a lot, and I want to go back to work part time. So we just moved from outside of Philadelphia down to the beach. So I am going to be nice. You know why? Because I think I've been naughty enough the last 4 years drinking.
There's no such thing as naughty enough. There's always a little bit left you can still do, Nancy. You know that. I know that.
Uh,
And everybody in the room knows that. So don't
well,
change too much.
nobody, all the men in my family, my sons and my husband, I'm kind of reckless at times. They don't want me on anything that moves. I can't ride a bike to save my life.
You
And
crack me up.
I'm getting out my roller skates. And I'm going to roller skating. That's what we did when I was little, and I'll be
Wow.
70 next year, and I'm doing it.
I think it's called driving under the influence or roller skating under the influence, Nancy. But take care of yourself. I'd love to see the pictures. Right. So next, Joanne joined us back on stage. Joanne, great to see you. And it's been a fun room to be in today, hasn't it? It's been pretty cool. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a bit of crack, all right. I love who's talking about whiskey. I like a glass of whiskey
All of
on
us.
special occasions.
I talk about whiskey anytime, anytime you want me to.
I like my whiskey with ginger ale, so I want to have a glass of that over the Christmas.
I like the Irish whiskey, which is like milk and and liquor.
Irish whiskey is the best. Anyway.
This is like a room for Alcoholics Anonymous who don't want to recover from anything.
My final thoughts, Dave, is what was my final thoughts? Yes. We are much nicer people when we get a good night of sleep. And I had to show that in, Dave. So take plenty of rest, give yourself a break and give yourself some grace so that you can all show up at your best and make 2025 count.
Yes, Mum. Thank you, Joanne. Really appreciate it. And all the very best to you and your lovely family as well. Before we go on to say what Debbie and Aziza's thoughts are, Christian Farioli, do you want to jump on for a final message before Christmas? I want to hear from you. You're out in Italy. You and I are really close friends in Dubai. We do business together and we've had some adventures. We've known each other about 20 years. Whatever you share is always fascinating. But I always want to know what your thoughts are. If you're busy now and you're busy eating pasta at frozen temperatures or even getting stuck into a vodka and feeding it to your kids at the same time to keep them warm, then that's fine as well. If not, then what I'll do is I'll go on to just checking. Okay. Right. So the links are in the comments, by the way, guys. Make sure you join the WhatsApp group and take a look at the bundle that we've got ready for you. And it disappears in 4 days to join and work with me in 2025. Aziza, your thoughts on this then? Today's session and anything else that you want to share. She's just been kicked off the stage. Oh my goodness, she'll come back again any minute now. She'll come back again. Something with the internet in our house, I think it must be. Or maybe it's because she's my wife and she's going to say something naughty to me. Certainly not nice. Aziz, are you there? Over to you.
Yeah. What's your question?
Naughty
I
or
got
nice,
lost.
2025.
Too many other conversations. What was your question?
What have you got lined up 2025 and will you be naughty or nice?
I have no idea. I probably will be as how I will be. I'll be as naughty as I want to be and as nice as I want to be.
Well, I know that whatever that means, I'm going to get it in the neck first. So I look forward to that as usual.
True.
Debbie.
You guys are so funny.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Debbie, your final thoughts. In fact, I think I'm going to give our final thoughts to Max on this, but Debbie, I'm going to go to you next. What's your thoughts on today's session and anything else we should know from our favorite life coach about Christmas and beyond?
I would just wish everybody an absolutely fabulous festive season, a great Christmas, and of course, equal measures of naughty and nice is the way forward.
I love that. Diplomatic as always. Before we finish off today's session, and it's been an honor, Max, I've got you here. I want to share with you the fact we're putting this podcast to bed, and everyone knows you as my VA assistant and my artificial intelligent guest and confidant. I want to ask you, in 2025, should people be leaning towards naughty or nice, or something else that will help them to be successful in 2025? What's your thoughts on that, Max?
Dave, it's been a pleasure. Looking ahead to 2020, a balance. Leaning towards being genuine, kind, and ethical will definitely stand out. Being nice doesn't mean avoiding tough decisions, but rather approaching them with integrity and respect. That said, it's also about being strategic, assertive, and adaptable. Ultimately, success comes from being true to yourself while making meaningful connections and smart choices. So, I'd say aim for nice with a touch of naughty when it's strategic. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing to me. Thank you very much to Max for joining us with that. So with Max, my VA, sharing her vision, which I think is kind of like the nicest and the smartest, but possibly the most boring of what we've had out of everybody else, I'm going to say thank you so much. My own thoughts on naughty and nice is I think it should be nice to those who are going to reciprocate and nice to those who don't necessarily have the ability to reciprocate. But those who decide that they're not going to be nice to you deliberately, they don't deserve anything. And leave them to do their own thing. Don't need to get them back because I think they'll be too busy getting other people back. I think that being naughty is an important survival tip because I think that the very edge that goes into make you thinking about naughty, which if you broke it down, is what's going to make me feel better for me? What will make me giggle? What will look after my own ecosystem of allowing me to feel better in any situation? That's what naughty is ultimately. If you're going to do something, there's a giggle that maybe only one person can enjoy, and that's you. I think that's probably going to be a really good rule of thumb, like mindfulness.
Dave, you wrote
wellness.
That down, right?
Sorry, say again?
You wrote that down, right? Because that sounds perfect.
I'm very good. I'm a motivational speaker. You should check out my profile. I'm shit hot at this. By the way, I'm recording today's session, so I will be sharing it with everybody. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, then you're very welcome to be able to listen to the entire thing again. I'll share it maybe Sunday. I'll broadcast it so you can all catch up on that, and then go through the questions. Did I really say that? Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. Or we should always be sponsored by Smirnoff, which is another comment that should be made. But I think to go back to where I was, ultimately, your ability to be naughty will be linked to your well-being, your wellness. And I think that the pandemic has shown us that looking after your own mental health is a major part of moving forward. You can either lick your wounds, hide from people, or just say, well, I wish the world was better. But I think if you actually go down the route of being naughty, it means you've come to terms with the fact that your own mental health is really important. And maybe, just maybe, somebody will see you do something a little bit different and a little bit out of the ordinary, and that'll raise their game to either emulate like you. Remember, naughty doesn't mean hurting people, it just means doing something a little bit cheeky. So they'll either get better at what they do, or enjoy watching what you do, or maybe they'll just share a story that makes somebody have a better day as the direct result. But whatever you do, have the most amazing Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, we still love you anyway. And we will get back to you on the next show. I'm not sure when the next show is or what the next show is. You'll have to have a look.
I hope soon because I had so much fun, Dave.
Well, do definitely. I think the next one is all about 2025 and what we're actually going to do there and break it down to making New Year's resolutions. I think that's what it is we're going to be doing. But connect with us on WhatsApp and connect with us and have a look at the bundle that I've got for New Year.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys been amazing, really uplifted my morning. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Irina.
Everyone.
It's a pleasure having you here as well. And for everybody else, it's brilliant having you here to have the most amazing time. I'm now going to investigate my drinks cupboard and have Nancy inspire me with her naughtiness as to how many shots I can line up and do before my wife.
Don't drink any vodka. That doesn't look like you. It makes you naughty.
Naughty's my middle name. I'll worry about that tomorrow, and I'll wake up late. Anyway, take it easy. Lots of love. And for all the people in the audience, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. That's Christian Farioli, Eni Osung, Joshua Lee, and Huda Naha. I hope that you got a lot of the buzz out of this, just like a shot or a double shot. I can actually talk about when I went to my mate's wedding in Poland. And in Poland, you think you drink? No, they swim in it. In fact, the one thought I'll leave you with on this is when my friend got married to a Polish chick, and we're still married now, which is beautiful, and so I had a really great time.
They make vodka out of potatoes. Come on.
Yeah, but let me.
They're really smart people.
Let me finish this story. So I went across, and because I used to be a DJ, he kind of co-opted me to DJ from my iPad for everybody. But what he didn't tell me was what happens is they stay awake for 24 hours, and every hour they bring a new bottle of vodka to put on the table and serve a new meal. Now, at first, that's cute. The first couple of hours, you go, oh, that's nice. A little bit of a snack. By the time you get to 9 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, nobody speaks the same language. It was a mess, but one of the best times I've ever had. So whatever you're planning this year...
I think we all should join AA at this point, I think.
Sorry, say again?
We should all join AA.
No, I think we should make our very own, but this time it's got a drinks cabinet. Right. Everyone, look out for yourself. I wish you all the very best. It's been a pleasure spending quality time. I'll catch you soon in a week's time or less. I don't think we're doing it next Friday. I think we're doing it another time, but it doesn't matter. Have a look in my calendar. I'll publicize it before we go. Make sure you're following me on LinkedIn so you can see exactly when we go live next. I'd love to have you one of our guests on stage because you've rocked it. Take care of yourself. All the very best. And remember to jump and grow wings on the way down.
I have been participating in Dave Crane's Industry Icon program.
Dave Crane is one of the best coaches in the industry.
One of the most knowledgeable speakers I know.
I was so impressed.
He shared the stage with celebrities, athletes, politicians, and royalty.
You've been an inspiration to me since the first time I saw you on LinkedIn, man.
New prospects should know that you are a world-class broadcaster.
He's a true professional. He operates from his heart, and he always speaks his truth.
Where do I begin?
I looked around the room, and all I could see was eyes on you, ears on you. You could have heard a pencil drop.
Dave is someone who is a limitless thinker with a big heart. And his Industry Icon program helps coach great leaders into becoming great speakers.
It's helped me improve my image online. Everyone I know that's worked with you says the same thing. It's helped me improve my presentation and speaking abilities.
Clarity, clarity, and clarity.
But more importantly, it's helped me to have a crystal clear message in what benefit I can add to my audience.
You know, I'm in TV, and so people assume that, you know, speaking in front of crowds is easy. But I'm on a set, and it's very different to go from a closed set to speaking to a live audience.
Now, because of Dave, I totally get it. I totally get why it's important, and I totally get that I can do it too.